This is a wow. You know, before I got to the podium just now, a lovely young woman approached me and said, I'm the wife of last year's honoree. It was the last year honoree, Mrs. Hogarty. And first time I met her. And she said to me, I'm the sister of Jack Soley. And I haven't seen Jack in 60 years. He was my classmate. I remember him like yesterday. And that's what Villanova's about. I come here and I meet them. And there were so many more stories just like that in my life that I've experienced coming to Villanova. And I'm so glad I didn't go to any other school like Boston College or Georgetown. I'd like to say good evening to Father Donahue and Dean Maggitti and the fellow alum and family and friends. What a wonderful honor it is to be recognized by Villanova School of Business. When I graduated from Villanova University 60 years ago, I could only dream of a night like tonight, and here I am. In my 82 years, I have achieved success by hard work, prayer, faith, and the help for others. And that is what this award means to me. Those Villanova professors who work so hard to succeed in their own right, I have been so very blessed with the opportunity to give them help they need to attain their goals, to be awarded for merely returning the blessings that I have received. I am truly humbled. I entered the world of business through our family construction enterprise. I later diversified my own interests to banking, real estate investments, and catering facilities. And my Villanova education guided me along the way, as well as my father and mother, my 5 brothers, and my 4 sisters, and my beautiful and amazing wife, Barbara. It's such a joy to see my 3 children here tonight. As you know, Elizabeth, class of 82, Lisa, class of 84, and my son Richard. I own a college master's degree, 2013, a late bloomer, but a great, great go. All of whom are so successful in their careers. To be able to have them share this evening with me fills my heart with happiness and pride. I am especially thankful tonight for the guidance I have received from the Augustinian community, their honor to the tradition of the Catholic Church, their commitment to the excellence for higher education, and their love for this university is what truly makes Villanova such a special place for me, and I hope for all of you. And thank you so much for the honor, Father, and God bless all of you. This is a great honor. I'm a kid from the Bronx. Thank you. Thanks so much.
I hope no one forgot about our hashtag up here, BLF 2014. Congratulations to Richard Niclaria. What an honor it is to share the stage with you. Please join me now in welcoming Tom Klein, Villanova class of 1984. Tom has been an active member of the Dean's Advisory Council, a good friend and partner to Villanova and VSB in a variety of ways. He's been a friend to me since the day I became dean. He has been incredibly supportive of me from the very first day, I must say. Tom is president and CEO of Sabre Holdings. One of those holdings is Travelocity. You may be familiar with the Travelocity website, and he has more than 17 years of experience managing large-scale international technology businesses. This year, Tom took to the road and led Sabre's successful IPO and literally rang the bell on Wall Street in what was the 6th largest tech IPO of the year. Before being named CEO in August 2013, he served in several leadership positions with Sabre in the United States and Latin America, and was the first Director General of Sabre Sociedad Tecnológica, a Mexico-based joint venture company owned by Sabre. Because of where he's lived and where he's worked, he calls himself a NAFTA expat because he's lived both in Toronto and Mexico City, making him quite unique. Early in his career, Tom led teams that built many of the first-generation travel websites in the United States, as well as software that won global design awards during the dawn of big businesses' adoption of the internet. Prior to joining Sabre in 1994, Tom held a variety of sales, marketing, and operations roles at American Airlines and Consolidated Freightways. In addition to serving on the Sabre Board of Directors, Tom is on the board of Cedar Fair Entertainment and serves as chair of its compensation committee. In 2010, the U.S. Secretary of Commerce appointed Tom to the Brand USA Board of Directors, and he now serves as vice chairman. Tom also serves on the executive committee of the World Travel and Tourism Council. Please join me in welcoming my good friend, Tom Klein.
Thank you, Pat. Good evening, everyone. Since we're here on campus tonight, let me start by sharing the thesis. I get to do a thesis tonight. A thesis for the talk. In today's world, innovation inspires and fuels success. But innovation is often elusive. And it means for leaders, we really have to really go on a search. We have to go on a search, a personal one, to find out what our role needs to be to ignite creativity, to be the fire starter. And that's what tonight's talk is about. My story started here at Villanova, and most of my personal searches started here, and they resulted in this gracious invitation tonight. And I love being back here. I love getting to see firsthand all the wonderful things going on the campus, with our faculty, with our students. Father Peter, Dean Majidi, you really are igniting change here. You're global thinkers, and you are innovators, and the things that you're doing with the school are just terrific, and it makes me so proud to be an alumni. And especially to be part of a ceremony here tonight to recognize you, Mr. Niclario, receiving the Bartley Alumni Medallion. Congratulations again. So growing up in North Jersey and then being here at Villanova, I had a lot of odd jobs. One of them was delivering Bryn Mawr pizza. And I pretty quickly learned when I was here that delivering to Villanova, and really almost any other delivery, resulted in better tips than when you deliver to the women of Bryn Mawr College. Now, living in Texas, I don't really keep up with mainline news as much as I probably should. But I read recently, as I think probably most of you know, the Eagles' LaShawn and McCoy gave a 20-cent tip to a waiter after a dinner. And I thought, wow, things really do change. I didn't know LaShawn went to Bryn Mawr. And so, apparently, while Bryn Mawr was busy admitting men and building a football program, Villanova was busy building a center for innovation, which hopefully will make Villanova students' search for innovation far less elusive than it's been for me. So as you heard, I'm a business guy. I happen to be in tech, and I'm privileged to work at what I often describe as the magical intersection of technology and travel. What do I mean by magic? Every day, Sabre processes about 3 billion transactions, all travel related. It could be an airline reservation, a hotel check-in, a pilot's flight plan. So if you made a trip here tonight, if you flew here or if you're staying at a local hotel, I hope your experience is going well. There's a pretty good chance that some of our technology helped make it happen. And most of our innovation comes from computer scientists and engineers, and I'm neither of those. I'm, however, a guy who figured out how to combine a great Villanova education, some New Jersey street smarts, some basic salesmanship. That's another intersection. Not sure how magical that one is. But today, that selling part, it's a big part of my job. It's selling innovation and the importance of innovation to the 10,000 people at Sabre every day, putting a spotlight on how important it is for our customers and also on how important it is to the long-term health of our business. And I've gained confidence that I can influence our innovation pace, our focus, and that I could ignite innovation in our business. But it's not easy. Leaders in business, we're comfortable with traditional tools. And a lot of times that abandons us in our search for innovation. Why is that? Why is innovation hard? And actually, there's some really good reasons. Recently, Edward Hess from UVA published an article in Forbes magazine, and he said, basically, I'm paraphrasing, basically he said that innovative thinking is an unnatural act for most people, that we have an overwhelming ability to confirm what we already know. And as you've probably experienced, when we're faced with people that are naturally creative thinkers, sometimes it confounds us. We're not sure what to do with them. If you watched A Beautiful Mind, the story of that exploder's Princeton mathematician John Nash's life, you see that conflict that exists between intuition and logic. Nash saw things that others didn't see, and when he was right, he was viewed as a genius. But when he saw things that others didn't see, like extraterrestrials, he was viewed as insane. Now, of his situation, Nash said, "My thoughts about supernatural beings came to me the same way my mathematical thoughts did, so I took them seriously." And so, no wonder we struggle. But the good news is, like other disciplines, innovation requires a leader's personal time and engagement. And when you have that focus, you can really make a big impact. So for your consideration, I'd like to share a couple of lessons that I've learned in the innovation trenches, and especially the lessons related to the personal commitment and engagement needed by leaders to ignite innovation in any organization. And in my own search, I found them in surprising places. It wasn't from a consultant or from a textbook or from a business class. It came out of the roles that I have to personally play. 4 unique and vital roles. And I'll admit that I'm way better at some of them than others, and in some cases I have an awful lot of work to do. But imagine standing in front of me right now, an architect, an industrial engineer, a chemist, and an evangelist. So here's the magical part. I have to play all 4 of those roles, and so do all of you. This is an eclectic group for sure, so let me explain, and I'll start with the architect. Now, I recently, last summer, visited Oxford University with my family, and we learned that J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and other writers would bring their informal group, the Inklings, together at the public houses around Oxford. For the Villanova students here, that's the pubs. And they got together to talk about their unfinished works and to help each other. In that environment, let them discuss their work, which is by its nature a solitary task, and they shared ideas and thoughts and knowledge that allowed them to progress their stories. Now, I'm sure the Guinness helped. Now, but this is one of many stories suggesting that innovation occurs at the intersection of open minds, creative ideas, and collaboration, and that the environment is often the catalyst and to bring those dynamics together. Our technology leader at Sabre, her name is Deborah Kerr. She's a product of that kind of environment. Deborah started a 10-year career at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory when she was 16 years old. She graduated high school when she was 15. Like many innovation labs, JPL environment was a lot like a college campus. It had incredible diversity, had scientists from over 80 countries, a passionate melting pot that kind of bubbled over into the hallways and conversations in the gym and the cafeteria, all focused on missions to go where no other man had ever gone before. Based on her experience, Deborah's pushing us at Sabre to architect a stronger environment to support interaction and collaboration. We already are pretty open, but we see opportunities to make our spaces even more conducive to collaboration, and thanks to Deborah's leadership, we're pushing the organization in exciting new ways. We use physical and virtual spaces as backdrops for unconventional challenges, like experiments where we pull together a diverse team. Often they don't know each other. We put them in a lab, we give them a specific problem, and we give them technology that they've never used before to go solve the problem. In one recent example, one of those teams came up with a prototype in about 10 days that our hotel customers believe will meaningfully change their business. It'll change the guest experience. Now, as architects, we need to create environments and invest in tools that allow our teams to work collaboratively, whether down the hall from each other or whether they're 7 or 8 time zones away. While also remembering that our teams like us do need time to think, they need to get away from the buzz, they need to digest the value of all that collaboration. So it's not just about tearing down all the walls, you have to be thoughtful about that, it's a little more of a balance. So with this first role as architect, leaders have to strive to create environments where they stimulate energy, creativity, interaction, and respecting the need for private time at the same time. And when we properly balance that, that could really be the lifeblood for innovation. Now, I'm sure that some of you are skeptical about this architect thing. So this next one appeals maybe a little more to our pragmatic side. Let me talk about the industrial engineer. You probably all know an industrial engineer. They measure, they validate, they optimize. That's the kind of stuff they like to do. And they reject the idea that you can't measure innovation, its pace or its progress. So innovation, like any other important discipline in any organization, can and must come with some expectations, with some predictability, with some measures. And as IEs, we can demand relevant expectations, we can demand measures around some of the important innovations that are either going to help our customers, that are going to build our business, or help us be more cost effective, regardless of what area it is. We can measure innovation. And here's a few examples. In the mobile business, when you're doing mobile development, you can do A/B testing. A/B testing is just creating two different ideas. Say it's a workflow change, or say it's a user interface. You have two different ones. And it's kind of like when you go to the eye doctor and you're asked to choose A/B as he's flicking through the lenses. You're doing that with real-time user feedback. It's a great way to measure the effectiveness and the pace of some of your incremental innovation. And we look for our teams to measure with a whole lot of clarity, and we'll often challenge them to pick up the pace. So, for example, we'll ask them if we see something that's really starting to drive change, we'll ask them to ramp up how many tests we're doing, how many implementations we're doing, because again, we're really seeing good results, and we want to see good measures out of it. Another thing that we could measure is we look at innovation pipelines the same way we look at a sales pipeline. So there's lots of ideas at the top of the funnel. As it gets further and further down the funnel, there's less and less ideas, and we want to understand a few things. We pay a lot of attention to why ideas are dying at the top, right? So we want to make sure we learn from that. And we also want to make sure that it's not just easy ideas coming through the funnel. Just like in sales, you can't just close the deals you're supposed to win. You have to close some deals that are big and really difficult. Same way with when you're looking at your innovation funnel. We want to make sure not just the easy ideas are getting through. So as the industrial engineer of innovation, we're free to demand, expect some measures around our innovation pace, our output, and our results, all the while knowing that innovation is not a high percentage game. And it's as important to recognize the failures of some of the riskier things that you're doing, some of the more creative things you're doing, and learning from those failures, celebrating them as well as getting some wins along the way. So now I come to the third role, the chemist. So just like over in the Mendel Science Center, when you mix potassium and water, you get a serious explosive reaction. I know the rest of the business school people didn't know that. But you do. And you can get an equally volatile reaction when you mix talented, creative people from different disciplines together. My sophomore daughter told me that. That's how I knew to put that in here. Sophomore in high school. So to explore the role as talent chemist, let me share a story I heard over dinner with Mickey Drexler. He's he's also a very volatile retailer. Mickey took the Gap to great heights before getting dismissed, and now he's had a great run at J.Crew. And I had read and heard lots about Mickey. I didn't really know what to expect, but I found him to be engaging. He's very at peace with his current role, which is kind of an iconic retailer, but he's also spending a lot of time mentoring other leaders. He's much more like an encouraging uncle than kind of the tyrant that I had read about. Well, Mickey was on the board of Apple, and he became Steve Jobs' collaborator on the design and the launch of the Apple Store. Today, that's the most productive retail space on the planet. And if you knew or read about Jobs, which I'm sure everybody has, you know he's brilliant, but he was also difficult. Steve was the show. Well, Mickey's the show too. That could have been a disaster. As Mickey told it, despite being really busy in his own right, Jobs would call him day and night to discuss ideas for the store. He said that Steve was actually the only one with the gall, not exactly what he said, to call him in the middle of the night. He also said he left his phone on, which he didn't need to do, because he was so excited about the collaboration and the collision of ideas. Now, he wanted those calls. And I suspect the stores wouldn't have turned out quite as well without the chemistry between these two guys. Now, this got me thinking about the challenge for all of us as chemists. It really is, what if we have to manage a Jobs and a Drexler? Different people, tough personalities, both believing they're right, because they usually are. But how do we put those people together? How do we get them to work together? How do we encourage them to let their ideas collide and morph into something that's great? Now recently, we started to add new talent at Sabre. Now historically, we've been pretty deep in computer science, applied mathematics, and operations research. Now we're adding depth in data science and cognitive science and artificial intelligence and human factors. And we get a whole new dynamic, a whole new chemistry. A few years ago, if somebody walked into my office and said, we want to put an anthropologist on a development team, I would have run them out of my office. I wouldn't have known what to do with that. Today, that gets me really excited. I want to understand, why do they want an anthropologist? What do they bring to the table? Maybe we should hire more than one. I don't usually say maybe we should hire more than one. But as leaders, we have to mix up the team. We have to ensure that the opportunities are viewed from a variety of lenses, sometimes pushing together those folks whose ideas are furthest apart, whose opinions are furthest apart is where you're going to get the best innovation, and that's what being a chemist is all about. Now, the fourth and final role is chief evangelist for innovation, and you can be the day-to-day evangelist, or you can really get your organization focused on big, audacious, moonshot goals, but getting this right, in any case, can galvanize your team, and it can send them on a true mission. And I'm most inspired when it comes to evangelism lately by an odd pair, Michael Bloomberg and Bill Gates. These guys are two first ballot business Hall of Famers, but they're going to be remembered more for their philanthropy than for anything that either of them ever did in business. Why? Because they're true innovation evangelists, and they're transforming philanthropy. In true Gates and Bloomberg fashion, they're going big. Along with other big initiatives, Gates is publicly leading an effort that every American high school student graduates college ready. Bloomberg's trying to end smoking. They're working together to eradicate polio globally. These are the kind of ideas that just create a different kind of mission for their teams. Clearly, those are big swings. And if you ask the people around the Gates Foundation or around Bloomberg Philanthropies, they would say they're working to save the world. They would be they're locked in to the mission, to the emotion. And that's what being an innovation evangelist is all about. Gates and Bloomberg have faith that a disease can be eradicated. They call out a moonshot, and they're emotionally committed teams and believers go after it with unprecedented creativity and innovation. So when you put it all together, what I'm saying is that to enable innovation to reach its full potential, in any organization, leaders need to play a role. We don't have to be the innovator, but we have to play 4 roles. And we have to personally embrace them. Those 4 roles are the architect, the engineer, the chemist, and the evangelist. And when I think of this whole package, my favorite innovator today is Elon Musk. In the last 15 years, he's launched transformational innovations in 3 widely diverse industries: online payments with PayPal, automotive with Tesla, and space exploration with SpaceX. And he's working on at least 2 others: solar energy with Solar City, and mass transit with the Hyperloop. Now, as an architect at SpaceX, the teams there are leveraging a different type of collaboration environment. They don't use traditional design workstations. They're wearing virtual reality glasses. They're using hand gestures to move 3D CAD models around. It's technologies that allow them to allow faster, more intuitive, real-time design. So they've invested big in environment. As an industrial engineer at both SpaceX and Tesla, their development, their A/B testing, their rapid prototyping, all extraordinary. It's a step function innovation and continuous improvement. At Tesla, they took a concept car to Motor Trend Car of the Year in 4 years. And at SpaceX, they launched their first mission, put their first rocket into orbit 6 years after the day the company was founded, 2 months after their first failure. It's just incredible what they're doing with continuous improvement there. As a chemist at PayPal, they built the early company around a group of smart people who wanted to learn and to debate with each other. And since leaving PayPal, the so-called PayPal Mafia has had crazy Silicon Valley success. They've founded dozens of companies. In that small group of founders, they currently have 7 other companies that have exceeded $1 billion market cap from that small group that started PayPal. And as evangelists, every one of Musk's companies have started with a big idea that drove a transformational mission. So virtual payments, a software car, a reusable rocket. To me, Musk personifies those 4 roles that I've discussed tonight. He's the most inspiring innovator today. And by delivering on moonshots that really no one else is willing to take. So all of this is maybe interesting to some of you, but you may be thinking that in your organization, it doesn't really matter, and that no competitor is really knocking on your door that's going to disrupt your business. And I'm not going to ask you, I won't push it, I will ask you to reconsider, but do consider this. We all hope that somewhere on this campus tonight there's a young Elon Musk. I know especially Mike O'Neill hopes that there's a young Elon Musk somewhere on this campus tonight. Mike, go look for him, or her, or her. But for the rest of us mortals, we should be encouraged that we can participate in this innovation challenge. And the challenge is this. America has and will continue to have the seminal global leadership role during our lifetimes, certainly for the rest of our lifetimes. I believe that not with arrogance, but with a pragmatism that says, if not America, then who will lead? In our position, our economic position, one of the enablers of this leadership, it's been built on the innovation of our founders who believed in democracy and of their predecessors who believed in open markets and who built industries. That leadership's now been passed to us, that responsibility, that duty. But the world's a very different place, and it's evolving more rapidly than ever. Our grandchildren will inherit an America that can still lead, but it'll have an economy that's second in size to China. Other countries have strong technology, they have natural resources, they have huge workforces who are aspiring to the middle class and beyond. They're motivated. They'll make progress in a globally competitive world. All that said, while other countries have narrowed the gap, American innovation is second to none. But if we want to preserve our ability to lead, if we want to hand off an economy to our children and grandchildren that affords them the unique opportunities of the American dream that we've all benefited from, then we have no greater priority as leaders than to embrace, encourage, and do everything we can to make innovation a central part, a central focus of our leadership agendas, to keep America as the world's innovation leader. Now, the lessons here align pretty well with the words of St. Augustine, who said, "Faith is to believe what you do not see, and the reward of this faith is to see what you believe." When you get that quote right, it's magical. Is it not? Searching for innovation, working to find and harness it, making it our legacy, those are the things that are going to create sustainable enterprises that allow our colleagues, our teammates, all of America to successfully compete and serve in the global economy for generations to come. Thank you very much, and again, it's such an honor to be here with you tonight. Thank you.